Hello, my name is Retromoviegirl, and I'm here again today with an Audible audiobook review. This time it's Suitors of Seattle, Lilly. And Suitors of Seattle, Lilly is written by Kristen Osborne. And what it has to do with is that there's a girl called Lilly in it, and she's one of 8 sisters. The previous book is called Rose. It's the first book in the series, but this one has to do with Lilly, of course, and Lilly wants to marry one of Rose's ex-beaux, Daniel. But she has some insecurities, some concerns that she doesn't share with Daniel. She's not a girly girl. She's not the kind of person that's gonna wear a dress or a ball gown or excessive jewelry or anything like that. She'd much rather hunt and fish and wear pants. She's not into like needlepoint or any of the quiet habits that her sisters or her mother might be into. But what Lilly experiences is that she's always loved this man since she was 12. And the thing about it is that she's always thought that her sister is like a lady, and that Daniel would much rather prefer to be married to a lady instead of her flaunting society's rules and being a tomboy. She loves to climb trees too, and fish and hunt, like I said. And she has insecurities. She thinks that because she's interested in Daniel, would Daniel be interested in her? So she goes to her aunt, who was the matchmaker in a place called Beckham, and she moved to Seattle to kind of have children and start her own family with a good man, because she was fleeing an abusive relationship. And as a result of this abusive relationship that her aunt was in, her aunt wants any man that her nieces are involved with to be investigated. So she sends a note to Daniel telling Daniel that Lilly is interested in him and he's interested in her. He's noticed things about her as time goes on, and he becomes interested in her, like really interested in her. So they get married, but the insecurities are still there. He buys her ridiculous things that she would never be interested in. He buys her jewelry, perfume, fabric to make dresses. All of this is just patently ridiculous. But what Lilly does is even more patently ridiculous, because she doesn't say to him, I'm not interested in any of these things. Why do you buy me fabric for dresses? All that necessary communication is not there. But if it was there, we wouldn't have a storyline to talk about now, would we? But anyway, it comes close. Like I would say around the middle of the book, there's a scene that I'll talk about in the next clip that illustrates maybe how good Lilly has it and how bad other people have it. It comes from a discussion when she's at the women's shelter that her aunt insists that all of the daughters work at, so that they know what the other side of everybody's life is like. Not everybody is privileged and able to, move as well as they are, so they can understand that this is what happens to you if you don't choose the right man, and this is why people are being investigated. But I'll be right back in the next clip with my thought on my favorite scene.
Bye.
Okay, my favorite scene is when things have really come to a head. She's really mad at her husband for things he doesn't know about. He can't read her mind. He doesn't know about these things. But she goes to, there's a garden at the back of the shelter where they, plant flowers, plant vegetables and fruits for the harvesting season. But there's a point where she's digging, and she's angry, or sad. And a woman named Lauren comes up, and she thinks Lauren is a victim of domestic violence. And she thinks that because she comes from a different part of the country, she's better and doesn't have to dig in the dirt. And she thinks that Lilly is capable of digging in the dirt because she's a farmer's daughter. She's actually a banker's daughter, which Lauren, forgets, because Lauren knows Rose and how their lives in the least little bit works. So she's very much aware of that because she's met Rose and she knows how her life works a little bit. But anyway, they have a discussion, and she says after they get over their little bit of mad, because she has preconceptions about Lilly, and Lilly has preconceptions about her, and they eventually come together and they start to dig in the dirt. And she says, "Why do you look so sad?" And because I just married and I don't think my husband really loves me. He loves my husband. He loves my sister instead. But he married me because, consolation prize and all that, and he'd much rather be married to a lady. And she goes, "How do you know that? From the things he's done, he sent me things that I would not like." And she goes, "Have you told him?" Lilly says, "Nope, I haven't told him. And, I'm scared that he wants Rose instead of me, but because Rose is already married, he chose me instead." And the woman is like, "Well, when y'all are having relations, what is he thinking about? Is he thinking about other people? Is he thinking about Rose? What's he thinking about?" And Lilly goes, "No, he's not really thinking about Rose or anyone else for that matter. He's focused on what we're doing, and we like some of the same things." So over time, after this conversation, she grows to realize that maybe it is appropriate to talk to Daniel about how she's feeling, because, her mood has been kind of like standoffish when it comes to Daniel. Daniel says he loves her. She reacts badly and thinks he's lying. Everything that he says in the eyes of Lilly at this point is a lie, and it causes contention, especially on Lily's part. Not so much on Daniel's part, because Daniel doesn't really know why she is the way she is at this point. But I really connected to the character of Lilly because I don't like to dress up. I'm not a really girly girl. I grew up with die-cast cars and hated dolls. So I'm right there with her. I'd rather wear pants or whatever. Doesn't bother me. But I think Suitors of Seattle, the entire series, is well worth a read or a look through, or it's available at all major retailers such as Amazon, other places too, Apple Books. You can get them anywhere actually that books are sold, but I chose Audible because it is done by Emily. She's a really good narrator. So I really like the series, how it kind of touches on, it's not a full broad, it doesn't explain what the domestic violence was on the aunt's part, it doesn't explain what happened to her, why her husband is dead, what he did, but it does delve in to domestic violence for a brief time to understand why people in this story, the men are investigated so deeply, because they want the women to be happy and to not be abused. That is the general synopsis of, that is the general purpose of the whole story, is for women to feel comfortable when they get married and not be abused and be told certain things that, frankly, every woman in that time and in this time should be told about marriage and relationships and everything that's important. So I think it's a real like story that can grab your attention and keep it, hopefully. So that's my favorite scene, and I'll put all the information for Suitors of Seattle and the author Kristen Osborne in the description of this video. And if you have any audiobook recommendations for me, please let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you very soon in my very next video. Bye!